Google is pretty aggressive at suspending ad accounts and merchant-centered accounts for websites that sell auto parts. And here at StubGroup, we've seen a lot of suspensions, worked with a lot of suspensions, and I'm going to share from our experience some of the things that seem to be red flags for Google and ways you can try to avoid suspensions, or if you've been suspended, fix that suspension. And if you don't know who I am, my name is John from StubGroup. We are a premier Google partner and the #1 resource in the world for fixing Google suspensions and policy issues. So let's talk through red flags. Red flag number 1 is that you are going to be using the names of auto part manufacturers on your website. Obviously, if you sell a part for a Toyota Camry, you're going to say Toyota Camry on your website. And the mistake we see a lot of businesses take in this space is that they don't very clearly have disclaimers and information on their website about what their relationship is with the manufacturers whose parts they are selling. So you are allowed to sell parts and you don't have to have a direct relationship with the manufacturers, but Google does want to see you being very explicit about what that relationship is. So if you are, let's say, an authorized dealer, you should say that on your website and have that accessible in your footer and have information proving that you are an authorized dealer. If you are not an authorized dealer, you should have a disclaimer saying, we're not affiliated with the brands that we sell. We only, we authenticate and sell goods that are accurate, that are truly created by these companies, but we are not directly affiliated with them, stuff like that. So those disclaimers are important in making it very clear to Google what is going on, and also to customers what's going on, because Google is focused on what a customer see when they're on your website. So that's red flag number 1. Red space number 2 is bad reviews. A lot of people are very, very picky in the auto parts space, and it's not uncommon to see a lot of frustrated customers, especially if you're working with a high volume of sales. And bad reviews obviously is a problem for any business, but I would say it's particularly a problem in this space because there are a lot of scammers, a lot of people who are just trying to make a quick buck, can maybe not send out legit product or send out the right product, the right parts to people. And so Google is on high alert for your online reputation. So you need to be on high alert as well. If you're getting reviews, bad or positive, you should be responding to those reviews on the platforms they're coming through with very professional responses. And you should be doing everything you can to encourage your customers to leave positive reviews so that you have a good reputation online. Red flag number 3 would be a website that doesn't look very professional. The reality is that a lot of auto parts sellers, understandably, you're not website designers. And we've seen a lot of websites still look like they are from the 90s in this space. And while they might function and work, Google is looking at your website as a gauge for how legitimate you are. And so if it's really hard to navigate, if it looks terrible, if it's not responsive on mobile, things like that, those are all points against you from Google's perspective, because they indicate that you might not be a legitimate business from their perspective. So make sure you have a good website that looks good enough, at least, that is navigatable and gives a good vibe, not a bad vibe when you're on the website. Red flag number 4 would be not having any information about warranty on your website. So, the types of things that you sell, auto parts, sometimes they come with warranties. And so you need to be explicit about what the warranties are or are not. I'm not saying that you have to provide warranties. I'm just saying that you need to say what you do or what you don't and have that very clearly laid out, have a warranty page on your website so that people who are purchasing from you and also Google, who is crawling your website, knows what that policy is, and it's clear that you're being transparent and not trying to trick or confuse people. Another red flag would be low prices. So the parts that you're selling are pretty standardized. It's very easy for Google to see what the actual map is for these parts. And so if they see massive discounts on your website, if they see that you're selling something for 20% of the price that the manufacturer sells it for, as an example, that's going to be concerning to them. That's a red flag that you might be selling counterfeit goods or that there's something sketchy going on. And so they're going to look at you very closely and maybe flag you for that. So be very aware that the bigger the gap is between the sale price on your website and the normal price for a part, the more risk you take that Google may think that you're doing something suspicious. And then one other bonus red flag I'll put in there is we've seen situations where you have a physical business that, when I say a physical business, they have a brick and mortar location, maybe they're a repair shop, and then they expand to an e-commerce side of things. And they want some separation between the brands. And so they have an e-commerce website and they have their own local physical presence website. And we've seen situations where they didn't correctly kind of communicate the connection between the websites and the reviews for one website versus another website and things like that. And so Google ended up suspending them for unacceptable business practices, thinking that this e-commerce website was pretending to be the other business or pretending to have an affiliation it didn't have when it actually did have. So if you're in a situation where you spin things up like that, just be very careful about how you structure the websites, the business names you use on them, etc., to be completely accurate and transparent, and not do it in a way that could be confusing to users or to Google. And so if you're in a situation where you are, again, trying to avoid a suspension or fix a suspension and you'd like to bring some expert help in, we'd love to help. Reach out through StubGroup.com and let's talk about getting your account back online with Google.